The Beachhead Expedition Redux for No Man's Sky is around for less than 2 weeks, and whether you know these methods and extra bits of info will determine whether it takes you 90 minutes or 6 hours. So I've put together 15 tips that will save you a hell of a lot more time than it takes to watch this video. The first may surprise you, being Fallen Giants. Fallen Giants requires you to explore a crashed freighter, and it's not something you may consider getting done super early. But you absolutely should, and that's because it rewards an S-Class freighter hyperdrive. This reward will allow you to warp between each rendezvous in a single jump, saving you warp fuel and just generally messing about. For finding a crashed freighter, you have 2 basic options. The first is to complete First Contact, which is just scanning 3 fauna. This rewards the Orbital Exocraft Materializer plan. You then build that in your freighter to complete a drop protocol and claim its rewards, which include the scanner room. Building the scanner room will complete Faecium, which rewards 5 distress signal maps. And if you use all 5 at once, you'll definitely get a crashed freighter waypoint, and you should use them all at the same time, as you need another one of them too. Alternatively, you can just head to these coordinates on the closest planet to you when you start the expedition. It's a barren planet with salvageable scrap in the starting system that is likely called Cody 12. Interacting with the sphere in the centre of the crash site will complete the milestone, though don't forget to loot the buried containers. The one at those coordinates has a warp hypercore, as well as a few 100,000 units worth of vendor items to get you started. Interstellar Rescue requires you to help a stranded lifeform. This is specifically regarding ones found by crashed ships. There are 2 types of crashed ship, one with no NPC and a broadcast beacon sphere, and others with an NPC and no sphere present. If there is an NPC, you cannot claim the crashed ship, and can only help or ignore the NPC. To find these crash sites, you use the same distress signal planetary charts as mentioned in Fallen Giants. You'll get them from completing Faecium. Using all 5 at once will guarantee to give you both the crashed freighter and both types of crashed ship, which are noted as distress beacon. You should go to both. Not only do you need to help the lifeform for Interstellar Rescue, but you may as well grab the crashed ship at the other side. As I explain in this guide here that I'll link at the end, even just claiming a crashed ship will count as obtaining one, and giving you an extra 900 nanites when ending the expedition if you started the expedition by the terminal on the anomaly. This is still true even if you scrap that crash ship, so get all the goodies from the crash site and some easy nanites. And you never know, it may even be S-Class. Linguaphile will have you learn 6 alien words. The easiest way to do this is to just talk to the NPCs on the space station. Every standard space station will have 6 or more NPCs walking around. Each of these will teach you 1 word if you talk to them. Alternatively, you could look for knowledge stones on planet surfaces or even learn them from ancient plaques. But as you'll likely want the component plans that Linguaphile rewards somewhat early, you may as well get it out of the way. An Amino Chamber is required to build the teleporter room on your freighter. It's not a common find at space station terminals, but it is possible. You could also check each ship that flies into the station to see if they're selling them, and remember that each model of the ship is a different vendor inventory, so don't waste time checking the same ship model twice. The easiest method is to complete Linguaphile as mentioned above, as amino chambers are counted in those component blueprints it rewards. You will need a little bit of chlorine, 20 to be specific, so don't forget to pick some up on the Rendezvous 1 planet when you go fishing. If not chlorine directly, then salt to refine into chlorine. It's worth knowing for vital systems that the matter beam is not one of them, and dismantling it will give you a bunch of wiring looms and antimatter that will be useful. However, the matter beam is also one of the most useful bits of technology in the game, and if you either plan to continue this save or it's one you started via an existing save on the anomaly, and you don't have the matter beam on that primary, it's worth fixing and packaging to take back. Also be sure to use the repair kit you start with. Utilising it to save on chromatic metal when repairing the freighter hyperdrive is likely the most economical use of the repair kit. Called by the Stars will have you complete 3 fleet expeditions. These are little background loot tasks that you send your frigates off to do while you play. You only start with 1 frigate, but there's a dodgy trick to getting this done very quickly. You won't be able to do any of this until you have warped, so when you do, it will start up and focus the mission Fleet Command. First you check the fleet management terminal on the bridge, then talk to the fleet expedition officer nearby. After that, head into your freighter base and build the Fleet Command room. Interact with the terminal in this room and download the frigate fuel blueprints. You are now free to send fleet expeditions. The trick here is to send the frigate off on its own, then immediately cancel the expedition at the Fleet Command terminal, debrief it and send it off again, doing this 3 times total to complete Call by the Stars. I would advise picking the 3 shortest distance expeditions, as it only gave you 200 fuel, and even if you call it back, the fuel you spent is used. Icy Veins is the biggest point of RNG in this expedition. It can take 2 minutes or 40 minutes, but of course you can help this be a little quicker using lures. First of all, it requires you to catch 5 uncommon frozen world fish. So this isn't just 5 uncommon fish on a frozen world, it's 5 uncommon fish that are specific to frozen worlds. You will stop at a frozen world in Rendezvous 1 as it is the rendezvous planet, so while there be sure to get this done and out of the way. You can get the plan for the fishing rig by completing the Pilgrim, which will most likely have auto-completed by then. If not, just sprint around a bit without jetpack boosting. Lastly, for bait, I'd recommend mealworms. At 120 condensed carbon to craft, it's super easy to make one set, which will almost certainly do it for you. Anything else takes more time than it'll save for this expedition. I suppose you could take bionic lures with you via the anomaly terminal if you have some ready on the primary save you started the expedition from. But just fish with the mealworms attached and be sure you have the room for the fish to go in your inventory or the catches won't count. Having the milestone focused is usually also a good shout to ensure it tracks properly. For the air we breathe you will need to build a double cultivation chamber. This chamber requires 25 Faecium. Faecium is just poop, and so probably easy to come by, except you don't always find it randomly when you need it. The simplest way to get it in this circumstance is to refine it. You can either kill a bunch of fauna and refine the Mordite straight to Faecium. It'll be a ratio of 3:1, so you'll need 75 Mordite. Alternatively, you can build the refiner room on the freighter and refine dihydrogen and carbon at a ratio of 1:1 to get your Faecium. Grand Tour is easy and quick if you complete it as you go, and not right at the end, requiring you to go back and forth. All you have to remember is to take a screenshot within the atmosphere of the Rendezvous 1 planet, which is a glacial planet, and so the cold biome, then the airless planet in the Rendezvous 2 system, and finally the Rendezvous 3 planet, which is a fiery planet, also known as a scorched or hot biome, whatever you want to call it, and you're good. Uncharted is one of those kind of annoying milestones. It requires you to discover 8 systems. By discover, it specifically means to be the first on record to find it. I emphasised on record because provided you or whoever don't upload the system you find, the next person to go there will be the first as far as their game is concerned. The pain for this milestone is that as the expedition goes on, the number of discovered systems around the expedition route increases, and so you have to go further away to find new ones. I would recommend picking a direction in the galactic map, using the bright core as a landmark and warping as far as you can each time. This will get you as far from the expedition area as possible, as quickly as possible, and so complete Uncharted without much effort. Another thing you could consider is visiting a featured base via the anomaly teleporter and warping from there, though that will also be a somewhat discovered area of space. For tips regarding all expeditions, remember that if you back out of the screen to add slots to your exosuit, ship or multi-tool, you can take them back with you via the anomaly terminal as augments, only if of course you started the expedition from an existing save. You should also make sure to either take back or sell any technology upgrades you have, and not count on the terminal's end expedition function to convert them, as it will, but only to units, losing you a lot of nanites. Also note that your ship in this expedition starts with a sublight amplifier. This is on par almost with the matter beam as being a fantastic bit of tech, as it is one of only 2 technologies that can increase the speed you travel at pulse, so make sure you package it to bring back. Talking of bringing things back, remember that you can fill that inventory in the terminal on the anomaly only once you have completed and claimed the rewards from every milestone in the expedition. Once you have done that, you can fill it up, then switch back to the primary save via the pause menu, take everything out, and then resume the expedition to fill it up again. You aren't limited to filling it a single time. And the last tip is to watch this video next on making the most out of the loot from expeditions. I go into some crazy detail covering many ways to boost nanites technology and more. Peace.